All right, the Blue Jackets have made a big deadline splash. This might not be their last one, but we'll take things one trade at a time. So Vladislav Gavrikov and Jonas Korpisalo have been traded to the Kings for Jonathan Quick, a conditional 2023 first-round pick, and a 2024 third-round pick. This was in the works. We've known about this since late last night, but they didn't make it officially official until this morning when I was in class. So this is pretty much the earliest I've had to have an opportunity to make a video like this. So Jarmo does get that first and third round pick he's been looking for. He might have had to give up a little bit more than he initially would have wanted to get it. Gavrikov and the Kings have been linked for a little bit, but talks were at first stifled because Gavrikov seems pretty dead set on testing the free agent market, and the Kings wanted him to sign an extension. I honestly think Gavrikov has been a bit over-slandered during this trade deadline. A lot of that probably due to the asking price. I do think a first and a third for just Gavrikov was probably a bit hefty, and it looked like Boston maybe was willing to pay for that, although we don't really know what was going on with that trade at all. But I do think in a vacuum, he's a really good second or third pairing defenseman. And as far as Korpisalo goes, he's been playing very much above his cap hit. I think it's like 1.3 million or something like that. He's been playing well more. That's a great value there, and he has been much better than his basic stats might indicate. I think this Blue Jackets defense makes it impossible for goalies to have actually like good numbers, but the fact that he's been maintaining slightly above average numbers with the team that's been in front of him so far, I feel that that's a testament to how good he's been. And if you watch Blue Jackets games over the past month, a couple weeks, you can tell that Korpisalo has been a big reason why that the Jackets have been competitive in the games that they've been competitive in. The Kings, they're getting two really solid pieces as they make their run to the playoffs for their playoff push. I'm going to miss both of them as a Blue Jackets fan, but I do think that this is ultimately a move that does help the future of this Blue Jackets franchise. Now onto the return, and what's getting everybody all wide-eyed and crazy about this trade is that Jonathan Quick is now a Columbus Blue Jacket. Very strange to say, even though it's happened and we've known it's happened for about a night now and definitely a lot of hours. Jonathan Quick, definitely the most notable addition here. He has been reportedly unhappy with this trade. He wanted to end his career with the Kings, and he's been with the Kings for their 2 Stanley Cup runs. You think that maybe he might get a little bit more preference as to where he would like to go, but the Kings has kind of booted him out and said, we have a good deal here. The Jackets are already rumored to be seeing if they can flip him to a playoff team, as what would be his wish. Jonathan Quick has not been good this year, but again, his legacy of the 2 Stanley Cups, those speak for itself. And the Jackets probably won't get too much for him if they are able to flip him, but maybe there's a team that's maybe looking for some goalie depth or a backup goalie, and they're willing to take a flyer on Jonathan Quick. And now, Jet Greaves has been loaned back to the Cleveland Monsters, so it is possible that even if the Jackets are looking to flip him, there might not be a deal at the deadline, or maybe Elvis gets hurt or something, and Jonathan Quick might actually indeed play a Blue Jackets game in a CBJ uniform. Now, what I would want to know is Jonathan Quick willing to round down his number to 30? Because the Jackets goaltenders who are playing in net, their numbers have ended in a 0, except for Veini Vivalainen, who was number 35 and played in relief against the Stars since Bob came back. So that's a stat that I'd like to keep going. Now, that first and third round pick was what the front office was mainly looking for, but the first round pick has an interesting condition. If the Kings were to miss the playoff, that 2023 first round pick becomes their 2023 and 2024 second round picks. So again, that's kind of the Kings doing some nice insurance work that, hey, we're making this move in order for us to make the playoffs and make some impact in the playoffs. If we don't make it, you're not going to get the return that you want. The Kings, right now, they're a fairly safe bet to make the postseason, but right now it's nowhere near a guarantee, so that's the Kings, again, doing some nice little negotiating there. Although the Jackets have been rumored to be in on Jakob Chychrun, and it was also rumored that Jarmo was going to use the return he got from Boston in order to try to make a play at Chychrun earlier. So maybe the Blue Jackets are going to try to use this first-round pick from the Kings, the conditional first-rounder, before that condition even has a chance to kick in at the deadline. And if so, would the Coyotes even want to take that risk, and would they even count that as another first-rounder? Again, as a Blue Jackets fan, I honestly wouldn't mind if the Blue Jackets just kind of held on to that pick until the draft. I mean, the Chychrun stuff is nice, but seeing what we're seeing this year, maybe it's not the best time to make a run for a guy like Jacob Chikrin. But hey, I'm not the front office. I have no idea what they're thinking. Again, this might not be the only splash the Blue Jackets make. Yarmo might still be wheeling and dealing and trying to get something done here. So thank you all for watching if you made it this far into the video, and I will see you at the next one.